Hello, beautiful world. It's Cathy and me. It's Lara Green, and Cathy Baumann, and we're doing this together. So I think it's on the topic of we're both becoming something brand new, you know? And I think it'd be really interesting to explore that together and to share that with others that may be going through this in some way. So I'll just introduce myself in case you don't know me. I'm a future innovator, a reality creator, a visionary author, a coach, etc., etc. But mostly I'm wildly out there and living it,
Great.
living the fantastical life completely and fully. Love it. Absolutely love it. So that's a bit about me. How about you, Cathy?
Hello, everyone. I'm Cathy Baumann. I'm a source embodiment guide, also a teacher, a coach, and more, lots of things. But absolutely living this everyday life as creator, as I call it. And so, Solara and I, once I met her just a couple years ago, it was instantaneous whoosh. I had to know her. And we've found that we live very similarly, and our work is, I would say, totally aligned, just coming at it from different backgrounds and experiences, but that we are embodying more and more of our source self beyond
Yes.
anything that's ever been, and living this, I'll say, exploring from my perspective who I truly am through a physical form, and like how much fun and joy and love I can experience in this lifetime.
Yeah. That's fantastic. I love the term source embodiment guide. That's a brilliant way to phrase it and to work with it as well. Because I'll kick off this discussion about this newness that we're sort of representing and embodying. So I think I started in my work 30 years ago about the embodiment of our greater beings. And then that translated over time into the embodiment of our source being. So call that whatever anybody wants to call it, source, God, creator, infinite, divine, universe. I'm not attached
Mm-hmm.
to the frame, but source is a good for me word for it, I think. And as we were both talking before we started this call, we both been through the mills about it, like we've, we've had to learn, live into it in some way and gone through things that I didn't understand some at the time,
I
but
still
I
don't.
have, well,
Some of the things I'm living, right?
I have great understanding of it now. Maybe not
Mm.
100%, but I really do, I see what's up. What's cooking?
Mhm.
What are we doing? And we're not just
Yeah.
doing it as individuals, we're doing it collectively.
Mm.
Um, so the embodiment of our greater being became the embodiment of, I shall call it our source being or our creator being. And that's very different to embodying your own self as an individual being, because the source being begins to be a constantly evolving, rolling, rolling pathway of new possibilities, new breakthroughs, new forces and powers and abilities and mastery coming to you and learn innovating how we live as that. And so for me, I would say I no longer feel like I don't have an identity. It looks like I have an identity, but I don't really have an identity inside. I don't relate to myself that way. I relate to myself as an expansive, source-fueled, expansively intelligent beingness. I couldn't even say being because I don't feel it's singular anymore. So that's my intro to it. How about you?
Yes, 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 yes. And I guess I say I still don't fully understand what I'm doing half the time because it's not logical, it's not planned, it's not coming from that place. It's a knowing, there's a knowing, but a lot of what this newness is, it's like you just flow with the knowing and you
Yeah.
go. And the old thing that you're talking about would be kind of like maybe what people would call oversoul consciousness, where we went through these phases of integrating all these human lifetimes, galactic lifetimes. I can
Yeah.
remember times going through where, gosh, I'm an earthworm or I'm in the platelets of the planet, like remembering all of what has been, right?
Yes.
And integrating all that light back and dropping all the density that we picked up through those realms of separation.
Yeah.
And then going into the embodiment of our creator consciousness, which again is new, expanding into something new that has not been done. But yeah, I remember the dilemma with being like, who am I now? How do I talk? How do I act? Or just having those
Yes.
voids, right? Where you just
Yeah.
you don't even have a personality, but again, you start to choose, and there's that line in your book that I'll reference in a bit. Um, well, now might be a good time. I highlighted Solera's new book here, Becoming Legendary, which is kind of how we ended up reconnecting again. It's wonderful. I love it. But I highlighted this line in your book, and this is what I'm talking about. Solera wrote, I'm not a spiritual being having a human experience. I'm a universe evolving itself as a physical presence, embedding new powers and possibilities into the earth experience.
Yes.
And so this is where we go from having a set identity. The way I've experienced myself when I, really shifted into this was nothing and everything. Like I'm
Yes.
everywhere, but then you get to choose. So she said, actually, I can become anything I choose to become. That elevates my contribution to the world. So you have
Yes.
chosen to become someone elevating the world.
Yes.
And that's a choice. I mean, it's
It is.
probably naturally ingrained in a way, but we get to choose
Yeah.
who to be in the world. It's
That's
like
right.
total freedom.
Total freedom. And flow, total flow. Like stuff comes in a different way. I don't have to plan it and figure it out and do all it just if there's something to be written, it comes through. If there's something to be posted, there it is. I wake up in the morning, I put my fingers on the phone and before I
Mm.
get out of bed. It's kind of like that. So, yeah. I'm gonna just quote the sentence or two that you wrote to about my
Oh,
about in your review of the book, but let's see, where is it here? Yes, oh, of course I just lost it. Two seconds while I get it back here. We're talking about express the expression of our true self as a unique and individual expression of creator rather than than simply a singular soul facet. Becoming new is the natural evolution of humanity. And I agree completely with that statement. And what's interesting too is because I work with a huge amount of what I call big players, people who are
yeah.
up to making the world more wonderful in whatever way they do it, you know? And I would say we're not all doing it in the same ways. Some might be coming more and more of who they've always been. But even some of them say they were born with knowing source inside them. You know, so their journey is different from my journey and adventure of how I do it. But we're all heading us towards new freedoms of who we can be and how we be in the world. And it's so funny because that's so in contradiction to the world. You know, like
Yes.
how the world is or was and
Well,
how it's becoming. And I call us the unpredictables.
oh,
How about that?
I used to call myself, what I wanted to be was imperturbable, unaffectable. And you're using the word unpredictable, but
Yeah.
it's actually kind of related to what we're talking about.
Well, it's like I listen to a lot of podcasts and future stuff, and I'm really interested in all that. But it's it's so kind of scary in the
Yes.
future. Whereas I'm
Well,
like, hey guys, we're here. We got this. It's good.
what is the old human consciousness more attracted to? In those headlines, they're so sensational, like it's gonna
Yeah.
have, so since whatever, 2012, the Mayan calendar, the end of times, it's like you look at the headlines and I mean, I laughed this year. I think I saw 1,000 headlines that were like, it's gonna happen. It's about to happen now. It's just like and yeah, so I think that sometimes, spirituality can be just like another religion, or of
Yeah.
course, it's all subject to the greed or power and the old energy, and but the important thing that we just talked about was the choice. And it's like, to me, the biggest threshold that people go through, the biggest leap, I'm going to call it, is, and this is what drew me to you. When I first saw you, I went, ah, I have to know her because you were fully living it. And like you said,
Yeah.
there's so few of us that are. My mentor, my teacher, my guide who I've worked with, yes, 100%. I have a couple friends that are doing it, but it's
Yeah.
quite rare to see someone like you who's fully living it. And
Yeah.
that is to take our focus off the old energy. Not that we're not aware of it, we are
Yeah.
fully
I'm
aware of it,
aware. Yeah.
but choosing what we're going to feed, or you could say create as
Yeah.
creator, and
And elevate.
embodying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and embodying your source consciousness requires a great deal of responsibility.
Yeah.
And that is to be fully committed, integrated, firm that I am creating what I'm choosing, and you're elevating the world. And that's what
Yeah.
you're creating.
Yeah.
But a lot of folks, they go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and kind
I
of
see that. Yeah.
sucked into that, oh no, oh the world, ah. And it's understandable. And I've been there, or within myself, my own life, the fears, they're very um, seductive and comfortable and familiar.
Yeah.
But once you cross that threshold, and you stay firm. No, this is who I am. This is what I'm creating. This is what I'm empowering. This is
Yeah.
where I'm going to place my consciousness. And so it is. Let there be light. It's like, it just is a game changer that
Yeah.
you never want
What's
to go back.
what's wonderful about it is that it's so joy-filled. Well, you were talking about the responsibility, but it's joyous.
Yeah, exactly.
It's super creative. It's filled with genius ideas and new possibilities and sourcing breakthroughs in every area of life. You meet the most fantastic people. You see beauty everywhere you look. You uplift magnificence in everyone you touch. It's just pure joy as far as I'm concerned. I couldn't even consider living any other way.
Well, it's a responsibility to yourself. Like, it's the biggest self-love. And it's so funny because it seems so hard, right? But it's actually like, oh my God, like,
It's
why
so
would I want to
easy.
live that way when you can live in this higher and higher and higher states of consciousness and
Yeah,
feel lighter, brighter, more joyful, more free, like all is well,
yeah.
and you just disempower all that old energy. But some folks will say that that's like, you know, some kind of fluffy BS or whatever. And it's like, hey, if this is fluffy BS, then call
I'm
me
having
fluff.
it. That's how I say it too, because given any choice, like if people said, "Oh, you're not living in real reality," I would be like, "But I am, and it's
Mhm.
brilliant." And you're living in a reality that is tight with constructs and and I'm living in a reality that's fully in my almost an alchemical brilliance of a creation. It's because I just meet the most fantastic people, and I love doing what I do, and it's just things come to me. It's
Mm.
really, it's a different lifestyle. And I think that's where we're going. So I think what we're talking about, moving from an individual being at any level of ourselves to a kind of ever-evolving, multifaceted possibility of beingness and creation and life in the universe, right? I think one of the things that we're doing is putting living templates in place for what that looks like. And I think that's important. So it's not hiding your head in the sand or looking away from the check, because I keep my eyes on what's going on, but
Yep.
I use it more as a as not as a distraction or anything like that. I use it more as a signal to uplift life,
Mhm.
to take things to the next level, to call forward the brilliant leaders and creators and designers and innovators of life, and then put that into things. So my latest, it's interesting, I was just getting a newsletter ready to go out. And in July, so this is July 2026, in case anybody's watching this much later, um, my Murmuration of Maestros group, we came to the place where we declared ourselves as masters. And now, we might have felt it inside, but we weren't going to go around telling people. So we
Mhm.
called ourselves maestros, which was a nice term for it because that was pretty good. So we know we did that on a private call and declared ourselves masters and declared it to the world. And then 2.5 weeks later, you wrote it in a post to me in
Yes.
Facebook. I was like, look how fast it's consciousness is moving into reality. Our
Yeah.
own creations are moving into reality now. And so that has now inspired me that the next thing I'm doing, I'm already working with two people for it, is how to live your own unique mastery.
Yes.
So that's my next. So somebody said to me, well, how do you create an income in this way? Oh, easy peasy.
Mhm.
It's kind of fun and joy-filled. And it's a lovely way of living in the world. Because I think it's, you raise vibrational frequency, you raise into super consciousness, but then you presence into life.
Yes.
It's not about there, it's about here
Yep.
fully as a living presence, as an innovator and an implementer of new ideas and possibilities. So
Yeah. We
yeah.
are a portal for source
Yes.
creation. It comes through us. And I love what you shared because just like you were talking about, you can become, we get to become what we choose.
Yeah.
It's like imagine if you spend your whole life saying, well, I'm not there yet. I'm not a master yet. It's like, why not claim it and own it?
Yeah.
Because if you just keep saying that, you're always falling short in some way. But when we say, I am that I
Yeah.
am God also in this body, I am the universe also,
Yeah.
um, the energies align for that.
Yeah.
And then we step further into our mastery. I was having a session with somebody yesterday and they were saying like, Cathy, like, how come I'm not in my mastery yet? And I've been working with them for at least a few years. And I said, you remember a few years ago where these fears got you all bunched up? And now today you're sitting here saying, hey, the mind is chirping away, blah, blah, but it doesn't phase me. It doesn't make me afraid at all. I'm like,
Yeah.
you are in your mastery. You're
Yeah.
stepping more and more every day into more mastery. And
Yeah.
that's what we're all doing. We're masters. If you're watching this show, you're a master in your own right. You're awake, you're here, you're with us. And
Yeah.
so claim it and own it. And that stops that back and forth from the mind,
Yeah.
all that doubt, and the doubt creeps in, and then you empower it, and then you flip back into the old energy, and whether it's victim or I'm not good enough, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, no, I am. And then you move forward with that. I find that it's incredibly empowering, and it
Yeah.
just keeps that compass set.
You inspired me to talk about something which I call spontaneous mastery. So mastery isn't something where you have to go away from life, climb a mountain, live in a monastery, meditate 24 hours a day. You know, it. it's spontaneous now. It comes from a kind of expansive connectedness with universal intelligence, source power, movement, fluidity. It's so I wouldn't say my mastery is a whole bunch of stuff that I learned because I didn't do courses
Right.
and I didn't read other books. It comes in the moment of being with others, being up to something fabulous. And the more I be with others up to something fabulous together, the more I'm amazed. And I think we all are. We're like, whoa, we just did that. Oh my God, that it's like a collective thing, but it's also spontaneous in the moment. And part of that is letting go of what you think you know, or letting go of what you've been trained in. If the training is useful in the moment, then you'll use it. But mostly I find every moment that we do these things, it's a new moment. So if I try to bring something that I know to do to the new moment, I get in the way of the
Yep,
biggest possibility.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, there is so much, and I think that's the, again, that threshold of letting go of all that we thought we were. Not to deny that. It's beautiful, wonderful. I love
yeah,
everything that we were, wonderful. But it is, again, going back to, the fear of the old energy and like, when you have read books or you've memorized stuff and if you consider that mastery, yeah, you got to throw that out the window.
yeah,
And that to me
yeah,
was the scariest part of like the work I do. All my events they're all spontaneous. There's no
yeah,
planning. Sometimes I'll get a download,
yeah.
and oh, okay, we're gonna do this. And I might even publish a Facebook post that says, hey, in tonight's call, but I didn't think of that. It came through me
That's right. Yep.
and it comes, and sometimes I'm sitting there like, wonder what we're gonna say,
I do the same. How, oh, that's a brilliant idea. Well, let's see how that plays out.
hmm
And it always plays out amazingly. You
Yeah,
know, it's just brilliant. And one of the things, so some of the things, there's several places we could go with this.
I
One is
know.
what what advice would we give people who are moving through into this? That's
Yeah.
one thing. And the other is how does it occur once you're in it, which we talked about a little bit. So if we start with advice, so let go faster of who you think you are, or even the need to know who you are. The not knowing is an adventure.
Oh, yes. The questions, the two things that stand out to me, and I know we talked about this might have to be broken into a couple segments. So maybe this is segment number two now. I don't know. Um, but the two things that stand out to me in it's, so your work, you elevate the world, okay, which I
Yeah,
love, which, when I saw you, it's like, yes, yes, because you're not over here focused on the old, you're focused on bringing in the
the
new.
new. Yeah,
And my work, though, is solely focused on the individual and helping them move into that space within their own selves. And of
brilliant.
course, as we do that, that affects the world completely.
Yes,
Um, but the two challenges or opportunities, because every challenge is just a big opportunity,
absolutely.
is to drop the old stories of who you think you were. And
Yeah,
I mean, it sort of pains me sometimes when I see people still ruminating on the same childhood stories that they were
yeah,
10 years ago or 20 years ago and saying, help me get over this. And it's like, you don't want to sound too harsh, but it's like, dude, you got to drop that story like a bad habit. You got to just get over it. I mean, this sounds not compassionate, right? But
yeah,
really, it is filled with love. Drop
it
that
is.
story and
Yeah,
just, that's not you. It's not who you are. It's
yeah,
just a character you played. And so dropping those stories about your childhood, your mean parents, whether it's your upbringing, your where you live, the color of your skin, and
yeah,
people will say, but I have to deal with this in everyday life. We all have stuff we've had to deal with, and newsflash, you chose this incarnation. Nobody forced you. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't on purpose. So yes, letting go of who you think you are. And then number two, we kind of talked about from my perspective, I think just in the last 7 years alone, when I go back to 7 years ago, I did a lot of videos about this. I myself have shifted so much more into living like you, of you're full on new, like,
Yeah.
but where you go from focusing on the old stories, working on yourself, trying to get closure or get over your grief or sadness or whatever it might be, it's like you turn this dial, you just shift your focusedness and your focusedness onto the new, and you say, that's it. I'm going in this direction. And
Yeah.
it's so simple in actuality, but it is really the part that I had a hard time with. Well, I don't know if I had a hard time, but it took all my awareness, all of my commitment to just keep saying, no, I don't have to go back and work on that. And then I realized I'm done working on it when I say I'm done working on it.
Yeah. That's right. Intention is everything. Yeah. I would say too, do things you love. If you just some people would say, well, that's impossible. You have to, well, no, it's quite possible actually. And that could be quite abundant for you because one of the things I find is that if I try to do something because I think I should or because I want to earn money or it has no oomph in it. It has no draw to it. But if I do something I love, the field is full of joy and beauty and this calling towards me and what I'm up to. And it shines through in some way and it just works brilliantly. So that would be the other thing. And if you do things you love, it also raises your vibrational frequency. And if you raise your vibrational frequency, you will move into what I call superconscious state. And in the superconscious state, your intelligence alters, you expand, and you're now working with a sense of knowing, which is impossible to explain.
Yep. Yes.
There's how do I know those things? How did they come to me? They come in flashes to me of late, like really
It's
bursts
always
of
changing
flashes.
how it's always
Yes.
changing.
Completely, completely changing. Like I used to close my eyes and go high and get away from everything and ask questions. And now I just, like, I just think it flashes at me really fast, really quite amazingly accurate stuff, you know?
Yeah, I think it's funny because I just said, let go of the old stories, just close the door on it. And you said, do what you love. And what I found when I was really shifting through that myself, and then I was teaching a lot of it because everything I
Yeah,
teach, it's not from a book or something I learned, it's from
that's
my own
right.
experience.
Yeah,
And it's like, for years I sat in presence because yes, be in presence in feeling, not analyzing and planning and
yeah,
all up in your head. But it's like the real acceleration happened when I said, "Oh, I have to replace that old with something new." So
yeah.
making, I mean, I have a huge list like this on my fridge right now of the funnest, most enjoyable, joyful things that I could do when I don't have nothing to do. You know, it's like you start focusing on that all throughout your life.
Yeah,
That's how you accelerate that new. And it's so funny because working on the old just keeps perpetuating the old because that's what you're focusing on. But
yeah,
what I love about your work is as we are just focused on creating the new and the joy and the fun, and we're
yeah.
expanding that, it's like that old energy just sort of it's dying off in the background and sometimes it
It
roars up a
is.
little bit, but it
Yeah,
dies on its own because you're building, creating, expanding, blooming
that's
more and
right.
more of this over here.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Yeah. And I would say, probably both of us would say, our journeys into this were not easy in the beginnings. And I watched other people come into it, and it's certainly more gracious today than it was 30 years ago when I started going through all this. So if someone's listening to this and you're going through it, and you don't understand yet what's happening quite to you, one would be don't judge it. Don't judge yourself. There's nothing wrong with you.
Mm.
You're on an evolutionary path, and that's an adventure and it's exciting. So if you got no energy today, go watch TV or take a walk in the woods or have a sleep or, do whatever. Be easy with yourself about it. Um, I would say eat vibrationally well as best, whatever that means for a person, because uh, the health of you matters in this. It helps sustain the vibrational frequency. And also, I would say, make a brilliant relationship with your miraculous body, because it is miraculous. Those are some things I would say as helpful hints to move through it with more grace. How about you?
Oh God. Yeah, I agree. I mean, my beginnings in this life, I'm a completely different being. I had
Me too.
tremendous trauma. I mean, I spent my 15th birthday in a psychiatric ward. I was a runaway. I was a terrible rebel. And then when I became an adult, I became someone new and I became a corporate gal who had a big job and big house and husband and kids, success, money. Um, but my awakening was brutal. I was on my deathbed. I mean, I was agoraphobic. I was on over 10 psych meds at a time 15 to 20 years ago and all through my
Oh,
20s and 30s. So, pulling the plug on about 10 psych meds, I pretty much went insane,
mm,
became agoraphobic, but I knew that the I was becoming beyond the mind, beyond sane.
yeah,
So, wherever you're at, you're not too far gone because I had a deep, deep belief that I was unfixable. I couldn't leave the house, bedridden, and that's why my facilitator was so important. I don't
oh,
think I'd be here if I hadn't met someone who had been through it that could look me in the eyes and say,
yeah.
"Guess what, Cathy? This is happening for you. Isn't it great?" And
Yes.
I can, and I'll share this out with you. And he said, go look in the mirror and look right in those eyes. And the master is looking back at you. The
Oh,
master is here.
fantastic.
You
That's
are the
brilliant.
master. And
Yeah,
so it is in you, even if you're not feeling it today. Your mind says, no, you are a master, you're source. You've always been that. And I will second what Solaris said. You know what? You're not alone. There's other people
yeah,
that have been through it that are here. We were forerunners for a reason.
yeah,
And we're all doing this together. Not one soul's going to be left behind. All this earth is splitting. I don't know anything. I don't follow that kind of stuff because I don't really get into the sensational stuff, but
yeah.
I know for sure we're all facets of source and
I believe that too.
ultimately we're all always who we've always been and nobody gets left behind regardless of the stages and the dramas and the blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So you're loved, you're taken care of. It's happening for you, for your freedom finally from whatever you're struggling with right now. You're actually coming through this so that you can be done with it all permanently and
Yes.
live a life of joy.
Oh, I'm so glad you said all that. That was beautiful. So maybe we should just wrap this up because we were going to make this short. No, we can't
Yeah,
stop
we could go
talking.
on and on.
So, I would say last words from me about this topic. It's an adventure. It's
Mhm.
thrilling. It's exciting. No matter where you are on that journey, um, know that you're doing something that's more important than anything else that you could be doing. Like it's such a journey of becoming this new possibility of life in the universe, kind of thing, on Earth, in the universe. with expansive intelligence. So taking emotional reaction to emotive power, alchemical power to source new possibilities and breakthroughs into the world with joy in the whole of you, with a sense of huge kindness with capital K that ripples the world, but not that takes you down. It so fills you up, and it's contagious,
Yes.
you know. And my last bit would be that we're remaking what it is to be alive, to live, to create together, and to make a world, a future that's just beyond imagining at this moment in time. So that's my last bit. How about you?
Ooh, 100% yes to all that. Um, Absolutely. I would say that I'm going to sort of go back with what you said on this being an adventure because this awakening usually starts all exciting, and then you get through the grit of it, where you actually have to walk your talk now. Oh, I've been watching all these spiritual shows and reading all these books, and now you actually have to live it, and so many folks, myself included, I went through this, oh my God, this is a hard place and the world's a mess and this is tough and beam me
Yeah,
up, Scotty. I just want to go home, these types of things. And I think it's important that people see folks like us who are living the adventure, exciting
yeah,
part and
yeah,
experiencing more joy than ever because that's where you're going.
yeah.
You gotta, the only way through it is through it. And then it's like, the way I put it today is there's no real problem in my life that could be a really, really big problem compared to how I used to feel before. Like, oh no, this is happening or that's happening. It's like the emotions are very different and really, life, what we feel, what we experience, how much we enjoy life, a lot of that comes down to emotionally how we feel,
Yeah,
and feeling like all is well, basically all
yeah,
the time, because I am that I am and I'm part of the whole universe. And every particle of creation is actually in sync with me and supporting
yeah,
me. I mean, that's an amazing way to feel. So
yeah,
it's important for folks to know that that's what you're moving into if that's what you're choosing.
yeah.
And so I think that this adventure just keeps getting better and better. It's like every year I've been saying, it's like
Me
I'm
too.
just starting to live.
Yeah.
I just turned 51, and every year I'm
Happy
just,
birthday.
thank you. Every year I'm just starting to live, and I look
Yeah,
back to last year or 5 years ago. Oh my God, I was, it's like such a big expansion since then,
yeah.
and some things are not so linear. It's like you might be expanding over here, but over here it seems like you've contracted a little, and you might be expanding over here, but the whole trajectory, how it just keeps going up and
It
up
does.
and
Yes.
up, and it's like, what am I gonna be like 5 years from now, 10
I
years from
know.
now? We don't know. It's not written.
That's right. Yeah, it is. It's exciting to me too. I think that's just extraordinary, and everything changes so fast. You can't say the same thing from one week to the next, from one day to the next sometimes. Like it's like, whoo, here we are in another new and another new and
Yeah.
another new. It's just amazing. So, yeah,
Mhm.
we're going to have to do this more often.
Absolutely. I would love that. It's wonderful to be able to kind of speak each other's language from different perspectives and
Yeah,
different lives. And like I just love, like I said, how you do this for the world. And it's so and I would say I love that you this is why I liked your book, okay? Because I knew you had a journey of becoming what you are in this breath. Because in the next breath, you can be something totally different. We can't
that's
stick
right.
a
Yeah,
stake in the ground and say, yeah, this is who I am, because it's going to be gone. But the journey getting here, that's really what it is about. And so every day, being your own best friend, choosing the perspectives that bring you joy and peace and health and happiness. And like you said, we're in new energy now. This is not go sit on the mountaintop and om. This is not a journey of sacrifice anymore. And a lot of the
No,
old masters were sacrificial, and that suited the times. But now we get to actually also just really enjoy the heck out of life.
be fully alive and loving it. So
Mhm.
tell people how they can connect with you.
So you can go to my website at cathybaumann.com. And Solera and I are friends on Facebook. I share most of my stuff on Facebook. I have a YouTube channel. It's just my name, cathybaumann.com. So it's pretty
Yeah,
simple. It's everyday life as creator. And it's about everything I share and live is about integrating who I truly am, that source consciousness, into everyday life. Parenting, friendship, a community job, going to the grocery store, it's
yeah,
very
exactly.
simple.
Yeah, brilliant. And for me, again, I'm on Facebook all the time. I know a lot of people don't like it, and I understand why, but I it's where I have friends and relationships with even people I don't know and have never met.
Yeah.
To me, that's so exciting. And I have a YouTube account, I have a Substack account. I'm on LinkedIn, but my website is soleragreen.com. So you can find out about me there if you want to. So brilliant.
Thank
Ooh,
you.
let's do this
Thank you.
again.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Solera.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Keep being awesome.
You too.